Welcome to a Saturday. Yes. I'm sorry, but I haven't been on for a month. I have been on holidays and I didn't go anywhere, but I spent all my time on my printer. So the project I'm currently working on, and let me see, we need a, well, that ain't it, the screen, is it? Let's find the correct screen here. Yes. Here we go. So I've been working on, where's my mouse cursor? I've been working on this panel right here, and the legs underneath, and the top pieces here on the Z-axis. So that was the first thing I replaced, was these, with the bearing system for the threaded pole that you see. So this outer pole here you see right there is, oh sorry, get my cursor here. The outer pole here is smooth and the inner pole here is threaded. And what I found was this threaded pole vibrated when it did rapid up and down Z movements. So I decided to, at the top, right under here under the plastic, I put a, what they call a 608 bearing in it and changed the tops. So that was my first modification for the actual printer itself, not including the little guides for the filament and stuff like that, which I have on there. And then what I did is I tackled the under here, the what they call the squash ball feet. Let's see. So that was this right here. This right here. So I printed these out and fastened them. It requires a little extra hardware. I had to buy these things. Whoops, didn't mean to pour it out. Yeah, there it is. So these things are, they go in the metal, the aluminum struts, and you turn them like that and then you screw them so they hold the stuff in. At first, the first set I got were actually the wrong size. They were for actually a smaller strut, and I had to get a different set. And then I had to get some squash balls. Now, of course, Amazon thinks I'm into sports and wants me to do all these sports-like things. Not really. Once I got that done, right, I was printing this, but that orange panel in the front with the LCD in it was a bit of a problem. So this guy, where's my cursor again? This guy right here. There's another version of it. Looks like this. So first I printed one out of, I printed the first one out, and actually after a few tries I got it, but it's not very good. I don't know if you can see it here on the glare. See all this rough spots right here? This is on a smooth bed, but it did do a sharp, except for the surface, it was really good. So I tried to print again, and then again, and then again, and then again. I must have done this more than 20 times trying to get this to print properly. I can tell you this much. These letters, holy crap, are they hard to print. They're so easy to bugger up. And you have to get them really right on the first layer. And then this too was a real, I don't know why they put this in here, but it's a real pain. Right? And you can see on this one, you can see there's problems right up here on the corner. This whole edge here is, can I turn the brightness down a little bit? Yeah, there we go. There is a roughness to this edge. This isn't nice. Yeah, so basically this is a flub. It would have worked it just wouldn't look very nice. But I didn't like this because it is so hard to print that. I went through so much of my Prusa orange. So what I did instead is I went for this design right here. First this design, and then I went for this design. So this one's modular and easier to print because you print them in pieces. So let me just get this out of the way. So this is the module. So you can see here, I haven't fastened anything together yet, but you can see here it just comes apart. So they have 4 different versions of this, like this side for the LCD screen, for 4 different LCD screens. And then you have your corner legs like this, and they just go like that, and they will screw in place down here. I think this is. Once the bottom is done properly, and then you do this side, and you can see here the bottom. So this is the pie side. This is a pie will go into this thing sticking out. This is the back, so it'll go like this and get fastened in like that, and then this one will get fastened in like that. See if I can rotate it like so, and you screw it all in place, and that big hole in the center you can put some cables. So I will have the network cable and the power cable coming through. There's even this little square stuff here is for fans. You can put little fans in here, right? And this printed out really nicely. It's a lot easier to print these guys out, although still these 3 lines, I don't know why they bother with that. I mean, but it printed out really, really nicely. Now there's another version of this front from someone else, and it allows for inserting black fonts and stuff into these holes here, where the X is here on this button, and the original Prusa here on this. So this is almost ready to go, but I do not have square nuts. Now, I bought some. Now, let me just get this stuff out of the way. So, these guys here are the brackets that go against the printer. This guy goes and holds the screen down in here. You can also get, for this centerpiece, you can get different ones. This is just the plain one to join together, but you can see here in the web page down here, there's all these options too right here. So there's a lot of different ways of doing this. There's also this, you can even extend this one more, for example, and have some more stuff in here. This is supposed to encompass buttons. So there's a thing where you can put a temperature thingy in there. So there's the screens you can put on. This one. So you can put in a wave share, a panorama screen, generic screens, right? So you can put all that in. So you can do quite a lot with this stuff. It's kind of nice. I haven't printed everything out. But, so when I bought some nuts for this, this is just a generic, as you can see. Now, in these little square nuts here, there are 2 types. This particular kit is the DIN 5160s. I believe. No, this might be also one of my problems. There's on Amazon, when you look at these nuts, there's 2 styles. There's a metric based version and there's an imperial based version. and this might be the wrong set, right? It fits metric nuts, but it has a sizing arrangement that's an imperial for some reason. So I don't know why. And this nut here is too thick this way. Prusa apparently uses a 1.65 or so millimeter thick, and this is almost 2 millimeters thick, 2.1 or something like that. So it doesn't fit in the little square holes that I need them to fit into. So when you look at something like this, these right here, and you try to take one of these, it doesn't want to fit. It won't go in. So I have from Aliexpress coming. They're not here yet. Thinner one. I think I've got 1.6 and 1.7s coming. Right? So I did 2 different sets of them. Now, while printing all that orange out, I broke the extruder. Well, I broke the hot end. So you can see right here, it's bent. So it goes in like this. This is where the filament. You can see this filament stuck in here at the moment. I suppose I could wrench it out if I wanted to, right? But let me turn the brightness a little up here. If you look, see that black in here? Right in here. There's a kind of a black link. That's not normal. There's orange out here. And that. I think I bent this whole thing and broke it somewhere in here. Now, this probably happened when I was changing ends. This guy. Luckily, if you buy these Prusas, buy the spare parts kit for your model. Then you'll have a spare one of these in it. And I did, and I managed to, took a couple hours because I had to undo things and then put the new end in and recable it and put it all back together again. But yeah, just watch out for that. Apparently, one of the things about this end, you have to put it on and off when it's really hot. Like we're talking 250 C, like PET G temperatures. And that could have what happened. What I was finding was this end was coming loose, this nozzle, and my Z was changing dramatically, and I didn't like that. It's like, and of course, you can see the way this is built that I think this is a stupid design on their part. If you look down here, right in there, it's hard to see, but there's all bare wire right here going to the heater element. And I think what happened was when I broke it is not only did I bend it, I shorted this somehow and broke the heater in here. Right? Now, in theory, you're supposed to be able to undo this. I couldn't undo this. It just wouldn't undo. I got the sensor out of here, right? Because it's another hole like there, but not this one. So this is garbage now. And the other thing I wish that Prusa had done, besides having this, like this, was to have these wires better sealed in here, right? So that the, I don't know how they would do it, but it just wasn't working very well. So don't do that. That's a very bad thing. Now, another project I have coming up for it also is if we look at the printer, that's the front, this is the back. See the control section here where all the cables go into? So this is the power section, and it goes underneath the printer. You can see right here it goes into this. This is really tight and really hard to work with. So I'm going to be replacing it with a bigger one. I've already printed it all out. And this one faces the board and everything when you put it in. It faces outward from the printer, not into the printer's bed. So it'll make it easier to work on. So it'll go like this. And these holes go against the side of the arm, like that, the metal that you see there. So it's going to go kind of like this. And you have an option. I printed the side with the fan hole, just in case you want to put it. But you can see the little NC board will go in here. There's lots of room for the cables, a lot of sorting. But again, I don't have the nuts yet for doing all this. I have lots of screws, but not the nuts. So now, one thing I did run into, I had worked on the Raspberry Pi Octoprint, which I already had running. That's not a problem. But I didn't have a screen for it. So what I wanted to do is like this part right here. So this screen here is using the Hyperpixel 4 from the place in England where you can buy electronics. My problem was I was going to use, oops, I didn't show it to you. To do this, I was going to use this. So this is a Libre computer called a Potato. And I bought the EEMC module for the back for 32 gig. And it works great. I have no problem. The OS is all installed. But there's one downfall on this. As you might notice, there's no ribbon cable for a display. So you have to use a GPIO based display. And I don't believe this connector here is, I have to go look this one up, but I don't remember what this one does. I had it all working. I installed the OS, their image. I installed the Octoprint, no problem. But I ran into an issue where when I put the display on the Hyperpixel 4, I could not get it running. Now, from doing some reading on the Hyperpixel 4, if your Pi has the current Bullseye version of the OS on, at least dated from, I think, spring of 2022, the drivers for the Panorama screen is baked in. Like, all you have to do is activate it. And I could not get it to activate. So I put it aside. I had everything else running except the display. I put it aside. And I did my Raspberry Pi. And I still couldn't get the display running. So what I did instead is I wiped the SD card. And I put the generic Bullseye Raspberry Pi OS on. I ran Octopi deploy. And installed it all. And then I put in the display, turned it on, and it worked right away. Then I spent literally 2 hours on it, rotating it. Notice in here, it's horizontal. This is not the default. The default would have this wording rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise, so the top is over here. Okay? And that was really hard. So I finally figured out how to get it to rotate. And then I had to figure out how to rotate the touch itself, because the touch is independent from the actual display screen. You can have the touch in the wrong position and the display in the right position, and whenever you touch anywhere, you're completely out to lunch. So when I finally got all that working, I then installed Octodash, which is what this basically is here. Okay? This is the Octodash app. And when I put it on and set it up, the OS booted right, the OS was oriented right on the screen, the scrolling of the console screen, everything, blah, 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 except Dash was 90 degrees counterclockwise. It was not rotated correctly. So it was not listening to what the OS told it, that the panel. So I had to do a different thing. I had to use XRandR tool to rotate the screen. And then, of course, I ran into the same problem again. Touch was not rotated. So finally, I got both of them rotated. It took like more than 2 hours of work to fiddling to get this, and a bunch of reading to get it all done. But now I have it over there. You just can't see it or anything like that. But it's all ready to go. Now, when you put it into this piece here, this idea. So in the modular one, for example, and you put it into here, the Pi will go on to this green one up here, and the display will go into here. Well, you don't join them by the GPIO the normal way. You would have to use a ribbon cable like this to extend the GPIO. Now, this ribbon cable was too long. I ended up taking one of the ends apart, this end actually, and cutting it and then redoing it. Now, all I can say, thank that I went to Aliexpress and bought this. This is, as you can guess, the crampy thing for doing these. You can see actually I wrecked one of these already. And if you're going to do this and you have to cut one of these, get a few of them. Yes, I could have gone and found this connector, a bag of them, but it was just as cheap to buy a bunch of these, right? So that's what that, and that's all ready to go. I am going to try the Libre again, but this time on the Ender over there, the other printer. Now on the Ender, I've modified it, and I've taken out the custom Ender 3 S1 Pro touch display. It's useless because you cannot modify it or anything, and you cannot use custom Marlin on the other half, right? So that I thought that sucked, right? So I went to a company called I think it's called 3DHT or something. No, was it? No, what is it called again? Let's see. All 3DP. No, that's this. I've talked about it. TH3D Studio. So these guys right here. So these guys have all sorts of part upgrades, and one of the part upgrades in here is to change out the panel. They have a kit in here. Where was it? LCD and LCD upgrade and conversion kits, I think it was. So these things here, right? So basically, I did this upgrade right here. So I got this, and I got the longer ribbon cable in the bracket, basically. So this whole kit. As you can see, it's not very expensive. This is in US dollars. And with it in place, like here, you can see it in this picture, I could put stock firmware on, and they have the firmware here too. And I built it in Visual Studio Code on the Windows side. It was easy to build. I just had to turn on things in the firmware that I wanted for my printer, like what type of screen, does it have the filament out sensor, that sort of thing, right? And now this gives me access to the same Prusa tools for managing the Z offset live while you're printing, which I couldn't do before. You always had to go to a thing when it's not printing, set it, then print something. oh, it's wrong, cancel the print job, and then go back in and set it. You couldn't do it live. What Marlon calls baby stepping, the Z. And now I got the thing printing really nicely. So, and I did try out some of my new filaments. One of them was transparent. So here's the transparent piggy. Let's turn this a little down. Here we go. So yes, it's kind of like a. Now I've been trying. There's a couple of articles about using this stuff very slowly, and you can make nearly transparent items. This is, by the way, is PETG, transparent. Now, for some reason, I scorched his nose a little bit, right there. But so that's what I spent all December working on, is fixing 2 printers, printing all that stuff for the project. Still not quite done it. And literally, this printer was grinding away at printing for days on end as I printed stuff. Some of those little parts on the other one, they were like 14-hour print jobs just to print one thing. So, and I had to get it all just right. And I'm almost out of Prusa orange too. So, but I did have some stuff from Aliexpress, so might as well do some mail. Let's turn up our brightness a little bit. And here we go. So this is for the printer too. Okay, the idea behind this is a very, very tiny camera with a light on it. I don't dare plug it in because I might actually affect the running cameras here on OBS. So what I wanted with this, because you can get for a mod, they'll give you a bracket that you can put this down so that you can actually look at what's printing underneath. Because when you look at the, let's see, Hyperpixel 4, where's the printer? There it is. When you look at this head right here on the printer, it's very hard to see underneath what's going on. Oh, and by the way, another thing I'm doing with this is I've gone to Evo E3D. I am going to go and change my hotend one more time to one of this style. So the idea behind this style is the head's, it's quick change head. So, and they have a kit in here, printer upgrades, and you can go to Prusa, and you can go find the 3S Plus, and they actually have a particular kit for it. Right? And you take your printer apart. This shows you how to do it. You can see here how hard it is to see this little print head here. But you end up changing it out like this. You put that in. Redo everything. Now, this is what I wish Prusa had done with their version of it. Right? Put little plugs on the cables so that with the extension cables that go over to all the way to the control box, right? Doesn't have to have that. I think the way they did this part here is a lot cleaner. It's funny because that other extruder here, this one here, is also from these guys. This is just the E3D V6 extruder. A particular, I think a tweaked version just for Prusa. Wow, that is crooked. So I am going to be putting that on. Now I want to add to this the camera option here. So this little camera. So this is something like, what did they say, 1.7 millimeters or something like that? It's pretty small. Let's see. I was running out of those STEMMA QT cables for all the Adafruit sensors and stuff like that, so I went and got some. Hopefully this time, this is what I had the problem with last time with these things. I have one up here. Was the wiring was wrong. Like I had to flip the connectors over. So let's see. So this is an axle Adafruit cable. And if you look at the Adafruit cable, this is the open side with the open pins, and this is the closed side. And if you straighten the cable out and go, you find out it's flipped over. So closed side on my left hand, open side on my right hand. So closed side on my left hand, like so. Open side, you can't see it because it's white, but it is open. And these should now work. I shouldn't have to do any modifications. And I decided to get 3 different lengths of them. So short ones, kind of a medium one, and super long ones. I don't need that box. So this is I don't actually need them now. These are silicone booties for the heating element. The idea is like this. Like that. They go onto your thing, they protect it so that you don't end up with this effect here. All the crap on here. Right? Well, guess what? Since I'm changing the extruder to the Revo model or whatever, I don't actually need these. Oh well. I have them on the Ender. Ender came with one, which is really handy. This is a type of surface, but this one is sized for the Prusa, not for the Ender. I have them already for the Ender, but the Ender is a 235 by 235, and the Prusa is I think like 215 by 220. It's slightly this much more on the Y than it is on the X. This is the same material you make circuit boards out of. And it actually works really well as a printing surface in 3D printers. So this is for the Prusa model, and I have slightly larger ones for the Ender. Said bending down all the time. Okay, so what do we have in here? I wanted a couple of fairly decent heavy-duty needle noses, and so I picked some up. They're about $8, I think, each. But they're really strong and durable. So, I mean, yes, true, I have my chincher set here, which is fine. But I needed something to really be able to grip and had a really decent handle on it. And this does. So, what was this? We have a box. Ah, yes. I was worried that my printer had a cold corner. Like, I mean, I noticed that when I was printing the single piece front panels, and if I had it angled this way on the thing versus this way on the thing, this end was always coming off the thing. It was like it was not sticking properly, adhering properly. So this guy here, there's a billion of them out there, but this hooks up to your phone and gives you a basic thermal camera. And I was going to use it just to check things like heating on the beds. So that's what this is for. Yes, they're all open because I have to check which ones they are and check them off on the checklist. This is for the ender. Apparently the springs in an ender aren't flat like this. They're slightly different, and a lot of people apparently change their ender springs out because the problem is it gives a little bit. So, and on an ender, unlike the Prusa, you got these big wheels underneath that you use to change the calibrate the Z, and it's a real pain to do. Otherwise known as tramming. What's in here? Okay. Yes, to add to my collection of these things. I seem to be collecting these more than using them. I was curious about this one because I noticed that a lot of the clone Picos, the pins don't match out. I've only got like one other one that the pins are actually correct. Here we go. Okay, so this, actually this is an S3. I think it's 16 meg. Oh, that's interesting. It has a big display connector. I don't even think I have the cable for this one. We have the battery. We have I2C. We have a micro SD card on here, right here. Wow. Let's see, do I have one here? No, I don't. I have them in a bin, but... And this is really nicely labeled and everything. Lowland does a really nice job of their stuff. Like, I mean, Wave Share is really good. Lowland is really good. They both make really nice, but fairly cheap boards. So I have like 4 of these things. I'll just keep them in here for the moment. Well, that was great. One moment, please, while I pick things up off the floor. I guess this Ziploc bag is useless. It got cut. Okay. Fine. We'll put it down there. Okay. Don't need that. I know I already have a bunch. I think I know what this one is. I already have a bunch of these. But I have different flavors of them. Like, they're just different. Yeah, let me just cut one open here. I think I know which ones these are. Yeah, so I've got these breakout boards, but I have actually only have one that fits the breakout board. Just a sec. Give me a sec here. No, not that one. Yeah. This. So the problem here is you need a Pacific one of these, and I don't know. I might have the wrong ones again. I do. Damn it. No, this is the feather one. Feathered pin. Oh, I need the other one. I might actually do have the right one. I just have the wrong breakout board. Here we are. Let's try these. It's these particular ones. So this. Yeah, see? Identical. These are the stock node MCUs. And they fit these things. You just have to get the pinning right. Clock. There we go. Like so. So I have like 4 or 5 of these green breakout boards with the screw terminals. I also have some like this that use this particular board. This one you can put power in here and you'd actually, well, you get the idea. I don't have to do any soldering. These are all pre-pinned. Let me just put these guys back where they belong. Except I don't remember where I got them from. Ah, here. There we go. Gotta do some labeling around here. And what's this one? Oh, right. Hey, I 2 different suppliers, and I doubled up on some stuff. So these are little, as you can see, they're little LED thingies. And these are more of those S3s. Yes, now I have too many of them. I was actually running out of these. I have a lot of the single row ones, but the double row, I was actually running out of double row. So, last but least, this, still sealed, is a watch. Okay, so I haven't even looked at this yet. Of course, this is like, is it taped? There we go. Little cable. Ooh, it's fairly heavy. Oh, where's does the peel begin? Here. There we go. And this is for the battery, I bet. Yep. Oh, nice. Replaceable battery. There we go. Now how to get the battery back in. Huh. Good job, William. There we go. And then the back goes on this way. Well, it's definitely not waterproof. I can tell you that much. Oh, there's booting. In it, gooey. Oh, it has Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. Ooh. I guess we'll have to set the time and everything on it and figure out how to do that. Is it touch? Yeah, it is touch. Oh, cool. Note. You know, for all this, they'll put a USB 2 on there. Come on, guys. Lily, should have put a USB 3 on here. Well. That is something to look at. Do 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 do. So that is it for the goodies. There are no more goodies. We're all out of goodies. There's more goodies coming, but currently we're out of goodies. So, what else can I say? Nothing much, I guess. OBS has gained I think it's in beta right now, AV1 encoding. So you don't have to actually stick to the NVEC NVIDIA decode encode module anymore. You could actually make a station like this using just an Intel, one of the new Intel video cards, which are cheap. They all have AV1 encoding on it. Except we need to wait for Intel to stabilize the drivers, I think, a bit more. So, well, the next pictures I'll have will be when I get the square screws in from Ali and I can put the panel together on the printer. I did have to mod the camera arm on it because the printer's now, this much higher off the surface because of the squash ball feet. It really is pretty high up now. But it's fairly quiet, which is cool. So I will let you go. I know this is a bit sporadic of videos the last couple of times. I've just been concentrating on stuff. But I will get back to more regular. I have stuff to put together, and I still want to do the robot card. I was going to do it in December, but I was so caught up in the printer. And I better close this bag before I pour out all the connectors out of it. And I'm playing a bit of Lord of the Rings online too. Yes. So, toodaloo. Have a nice night.